Hello, everyone. Okay, today we're talking about Venus in Cancer. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to watch my video, Venus in the Signs Introduction, before you watch this video. In that video, I explain how I arrive at all of my conclusions of Venus through the signs. And this is a little different than maybe what you're used to. It's not the usual signs influence on Venus, okay? So for Venus in Cancer, Cancer is 10 houses away from Libra, and Libra is the Mula Tricona sign of Venus. It is the root trine, that's the name, the English name, and that is where Venus derives its power within the zodiac, okay? And then, so it's 10 houses away from Libra, and then from Venus's position in Cancer, Taurus is 11 houses away. So, so Venus in Cancer will give 10th and 11th house connotations. And this is equal sign, equal house. I'm using signs and houses in the same, they mean the same thing in this explanation. Okay. So, so what does that mean? The energy starts in Libra. It goes to Venus in Cancer, and then it goes all the way around the zodiac from Venus to Taurus, its feminine sign. And so what motivates a Venus in Cancer to act, to initiate romance and nurturing and decision making, all ruled by Venus? And what motivates a Venus in Cancer is what they perceive as power, influence, and responsibility. Those are all 10th house connotations. When a Venus in Cancer person perceives someone as having power or influence in whatever fashion that may be, it could be through money or wealth, it could be through their career, it could be a politician, it could be through their beauty, or something like that. That is very attractive to a Venus in Cancer person, and that will motivate them to act. And how do they go about pursuing that interest? That is the 11th house connotation. And they do it through 11th house factors, which are groups and social circles. And it's also awards and any kind of recognition you get for the work that you have done in the world. Those are 11th house things, or those things are ruled by the 11th house. So they may want to involve their partner in groups and social circles, and that they are involved in themselves. And they also like to show off their partners to their peers. So when they are attracted to and get involved with people who they perceive as having power, then they like to turn around and show them off to other people. And that might sound a little superficial, but it really isn't. I mean, in a sense it is, but that has to do with Cancer being ruled by the moon, and the moon is the public, and the moon is very involved in social activities. It's a very social planet, so that's another reason why Venus in Cancer does this, okay? And they want someone who looks good with them, and someone that will give them status more so than they would have on their own, okay? It's kind of rare that a Venus in Cancer person is with someone who is of very low status. I'm not saying that never happens, because there can be afflictions to Venus that will show this, or the 7th house lord, or the 7th house. But just generally speaking, a Venus in Cancer person is going to want a high status person, and they're going to want to show them off, okay? And they also want a partner that they can work with. That's the 10th house connotation. And they may get involved in their career, or that person may get involved in the Venus in Cancer person's career. They like to work together, okay, and take responsibility together and have influence together. So now This can also manifest in finding romantic interests among their peer group and within their social circles. They can develop crushes, which can turn into an affair, which can turn into marriage. And also, the peers and their social circles will have an enormous influence over their decision making, over Venus in Cancer's decision making. And yeah, okay, so now a man with a Venus in Cancer, he will have a wife or a girlfriend who has had either an abusive or lazy or anger prone siblings, younger siblings, and trouble with real estate and homes, because Mars is debilitated in Cancer, and Mars rules our younger siblings, or it rules really all our siblings except for our oldest. And Mars also rules real estate and land. So the wife or girlfriend for a man with Venus in Cancer can have problems with those things. But at the same time, she will also have an extremely good husband. She will have a very good higher education, and she may be wealthy. She has a good, she has a great experience with wealth and money. And because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, and Jupiter rules all those things. So a man with Venus, with a man that has a Venus in Cancer usually gets a girlfriend, and that actually shows that he's a good guy to have, which is kind of ironic, but so that's how that works. And yeah, so, and then a man with Venus in Cancer will also have a wife or a girlfriend who is philosophically inclined, because Jupiter rules philosophy and wisdom and all of that. So, so yeah, now the moon is an enemy of Venus. The moon doesn't like Venus. And so, the reason that is, I'll just go into it a little bit, is because, so Venus is decision making, and the Venus rules Libra, which is the scales, and the scales weighs the worth of things, and that's how we decide and make decisions. So, but the moon is a complete ego planet. In the Vedic system, it rules the ego. And also the moon is our emotions. So when we get our emotions involved and our ego involved in trying to make decisions, it usually doesn't go very well. Or it just, well, you shouldn't be emotional. You should be completely objective. And yeah, and then also the moon is a social planet. So we take into consideration our social status and things like that. And that is always not the best way to go about making decisions. But that's not the only reason too. Also, because the moon is the ego, and Venus is our love energy and our romantic energy and our partner. And also Venus rules relating and a give and take. Venus rules sharing. That's really what a relationship is sharing. So so the moon is an ego planet, so the moon wants to make everything about him. And I say him because Parashara calls all of the planets he. It's not a sexist thing, but that's why I say he when I refer to the planets. But the moon wants to make everything about him because he's the ego. And when Venus and the moon are together, that kind of makes some friction in relationships, because the person is making decisions based on his ego and emotions, and they're also in a relationship based on their ego and emotions. It's not completely horrible or anything like that, but it's just, that's why Venus doesn't do as well in the moon sign as you would think. Okay. Now, so also too, in Vedic mythology, there's a myth that the moon had 27 wives, and those are the 27 nakshatras that the moon goes through during the month. And so he had 27 wives, the moon did, but he also, that was not enough for him. He had to have an affair with Jupiter's wife, which is called Tara. And so the moon tends to have a roving eye. If you see a heavily afflicted moon in a chart, that can indicate affairs because of this myth, okay? So Venus in Cancer, if it's very afflicted, can tend to make the person look, not as faithful as you might want them to be. Of course, you have to look at all the other factors, but I'm just putting that out there from what I've experienced and what is in the ancient texts, okay? And also, Cancer is the chest area of the Kalapurush. And as such, the Cancer rules over the heart, and the heart is the deepest emotions. So a Venus in Cancer person will express their likes to express their deepest emotions with their partner. And so that's Venus in Cancer. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and hit the like button. And remember to hit the bell button so you can be notified every time I load up a video. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.